Hello, tappers. I was looking at my screen. Sorry if I'm making you sick moving this around, but I realized I was sitting like really close, and that's not helpful when you're following me for tapping. So I'm now trying to scoot you back. Hopefully that works. Hi, how are you? I hope you're having a nice Tuesday so far. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amanda, and what we do here is EFT or tapping, emotional freedom techniques. I have since learned that EFT has multiple acronyms that can be associated with it. So, emotional freedom techniques, and it's where we do this. We do a lot of this. And the intention of it is to release overwhelm and trauma. It could be from your past, from what you're presently experiencing, or something that you're worried about in the future. All of it is helpful in resetting your nervous system and regulating various systems that might be on high alert, where that's not necessarily your best option right now. What I don't do in this hour together is go into an explanation on it. So I'll show you how to do it. You'll get to experience it, but I don't go into like the science behind it. So if you've got questions on, well, why does this work and what parts of the brain does it activate? I have answers for all of that, but on pre-recorded videos that are on the YouTube channel, which is EFT Universe. So if you go to YouTube, type in EFT Universe, you'll see the channel pop up. And we've got a whole lot of videos giving you answers there. But here, we're just going to jump into it. And if you want to participate, but you don't know what you're doing, don't worry. You can just follow along with me and you'll catch on by the end of this hour. If you want to contribute to what this hour looks like, the way you can do that is just place something in the chat that is in your way right now. It could be something that you want, but you feel like you can't have it. Something that you have that you really don't want. It can be a pet peeve. It can be a feeling. It's okay if it's vague. The more specific you can get, the better. But any starting point is a great place to begin. If you have something that feels vulnerable, you don't want to put it out there on the World Wide Web, you can always email me and I'll address it in the upcoming week and keep you anonymous. My email is in the chat. It's amanda@eftuniverse.com. And also, if you have questions, about how things work, and I don't mention it here, I'm always happy to have a conversation with you. I want to be a support for you. I want to help you feel confident in being able to utilize this tool set and to see success and to feel better. I know so many people in my life right now are experiencing overwhelm. There's just a lot going on, and I know that's kind of life in general, and especially in the part of the world where I am, where it's cold and it's winter right now, and that can be hard emotionally for a lot of people as well. Um, if you're showing up already in overwhelm and just having a crappy experience, you're in the right place. I just always want to reiterate that I'm always here for you in whatever way you show up. So thank you for being here, no matter what. So I'm going to say hi real fast. Hi, Donette. I am so happy that you're here too. Hi, Anya. Hello, Paula. So happy to have you here. Okay, I do have an email of one of our community members writing in, and um, I didn't get explicit permission this time to say their name. They've participated before in offering us really beautiful things to tap on. So if you're here and you want to give permission, you're like, yeah, that's me. Then great. Then I'll say your name, and then people can thank you directly. But otherwise, if you just want to express gratitude for, oh, that really helped me. Just so that this person knows that their vulnerability and sharing was beneficial for other people as well. That always feels great. So I'll go ahead and read that. And if you have something that you want to tap on, please go ahead and put it in the chat. And then after I read through this email, then we'll get grounded and start getting into the actual tapping portion. Okay, so what our person wrote in is that they're going through the process of healing and with courage and knowing that it has its up and downs, that it's not linear. So, a lot of, good perspective on what healing looks like, and knowing that we need to get through it all the uncomfortable bodily feelings, emotions, scary thoughts that might want to hold us back and not do any change. So, even though the parts that have resistance for whatever reason. So really good, all over viewpoint, giving self support and accepting support from others. And then we've, meaning here in this place together, we've tapped about giving permission, and I've tapped about it multiple times on the recorder videos. I think this one is more about courage and self soothing. So just looking for, how do we add to that? This person is asking, what we've gotten, the foundation that we've given for healing is good, but let's add to that. And I really appreciate this, because the the basis of healing, I feel like, has gotten a little bit pushy in general. And that's sometimes it feels like that's the right place or a comfortable place to try to heal from because that's what we're used to, right? We're used to being pushed into things. Whether because we're told that our own pace is wrong or the way we're going about it is wrong, our timing is wrong, so we just needed to do it at the pace of someone else, or at the pace of something else that we've been offered. So being able to reach a state of mind, that really gives yourself permission to do healing in a supportive perspective rather than from well, I'm going to push through this so that then I can feel this way, can really be a mind bender. So I'm really excited to go through this, and do this tap today. So thank you so much to our person for contributing that. Okay, she said it. That's Paula, and she put it in the chat. She said that's me. So so that's Paula's email, um, and I'm excited to tap on that today. Okay, and Donette is offering forgiving someone who has hurt you deeply. Yeah, that I can't let go. Got it. I've got several offerings for that as well. Yeah, and thank you for that share too, Danette. That's a big one. Okay, let's go ahead and take a moment and get grounded together. So we're gonna do it a little bit different than we have done it normally. We're gonna do it from a different state of I'm assuming there's just a lot of overwhelm because that's what's been in my circles lately. So go ahead and close your eyes because we're gonna be doing a little bit of visualization. If visualization isn't your strong point, don't worry. This should still work for you, but it can help to have your eyes closed. And so having your eyes closed, let your body relax, slouch, curl up. Don't worry about your posture right now. We'll sit it back up straight in just a second. And here, go ahead and take a breath in and let it out. Like a big sigh. Just really let your body know we're relaxing. Let's do that again. Breath in and out. And now I want you to just perceive where all the bits of your focus and concentration and your mind are, and just see it out in the future, out on other people, on other moments in time, other things that you have to get done, and just feel how many parts of you are focused out that are just scattered, and just become aware of it. And if it feels uncomfortable, become aware of that discomfort. It's okay. However that feels, it's okay. And just breathe. And now allow yourself to start to bring those back in. If you want to physically reach your hands out and pull that back in, if you want to place your hands over your heart, and just call those bits back to you and see them coming back into this space where you are, back into the room where you are, back into your body. Just call them back into you. See them as though they're like projected, like little strings projected outwards, and just reel those strings back in. Just allow those pieces of your consciousness to come back into your body. See them reeling back in, the bits that are connected to your heart, that are connected to your brain, maybe that are connected to your hands or your feet. Wherever in your body they're connected to, see those bits of your consciousness just coming back into this moment where you are, and allow yourself to be within your own skin, to be within your own aura, to be within this room of where you are, and place that boundary just for right now. You can throw all those little lines back out as soon as we're done here, but just for this little space of time, we're giving ourselves permission to only be present within this physical space. Let's take a breath in and let that out. You just continue to feel all these parts integrating into where you are right now. And allowing them to settle into your body and feel as the focus becomes all 100% on how you're feeling in your emotions, in your body, focusing in on this tapping session, and everything else has faded away. Let's do one last breath. And out. Okay, and go ahead and open your eyes. And I will set just a quick intention. You can join me in it if you'd like to. It's my intention that for this next space of time, that we are together, that even though we are around the world, and we're aware of different things, that we're going through different things, and we may be very different people, we are gathered together right now together. And that has real meaning and value and purpose attached to it. There's an energy behind it. And we do get to create a physical connection, an energetic connection, physical through our energy. And we are connected as a community, and that your being here matters. And however you're showing up has value to this community, and it does strengthen it, even if you're coming from a place of overwhelm, or you don't feel very strong right now, or you just feel ugh, that it matters that you're here and that you are contributing and that you're seen and you're heard, and that there's an intention for all of us to feel better by the time that we leave, and that these tools do work, and that it's okay for you to trust that. Let's go ahead and breathe that in. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat and just check in, see if there's more messages. Hi, Dr. Scott. Okay, so we've got support for donuts. Suggestion for tapping. I am going to go ahead and start with Paula's, since I feel like that's going to give us structure going into what else may come up for us today. So tapping on, let's see, I'm just going to go back to her words. Courage and self-soothing, giving self-support and accepting support from others. Okay, so I'm going to go at this from I think support is a good word. Let's see, perspective. Oh, I want to piece this together carefully. Okay, give me just a second. My brain is getting there, I promise. And this also shows you, that it's okay to give yourself a little bit of time to really target in on what it is that feels like a click of like, aha, that's where I want to go from this. Allow. I want to use the word allow. Allowing support. Okay. And if there's a better word for you, please substitute in my words for what feels best to you. Repeat your words that you feel. If we were doing this one-on-one, that's exactly what I would do. I would follow whatever words come out for you. So please give yourself that permission to do now. And as I tap, if you feel like you want to tap on a different spot, please give yourself permission for that as well. I move as little as possible in tapping sessions because I don't want you worrying about, oh no, did she move? Oh, I'm really feeling this spot. Wait, but do I need to move my tapping? I want to prevent that. So I don't move a whole lot, but if you feel like you want to move through the spots, please do. Okay. So allowing myself support through my process. Okay. Through the process of healing. So go ahead and bring to mind something that you're working on healing, and do try to be specific, even if you've got multiple things right now. Allow yourself to choose one for now, because it will spread the meaning of what you achieve. Your brain will apply to multiple things. We do want to get specific so that we can really be clear about what we're saying and what we're changing. As I consider how much I'm allowing myself to have support through this difficulty, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now I'm not allowing as much support as I would like to, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though right now the support that I receive isn't ideal, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And I accept myself anyway because I don't require perfection before I receive before I receive. Sure, I want it to get better. I hope it will get better. I'm working for it to get better. But right now, I can allow myself to be deeply and completely accepted. I can allow myself to be deeply and completely supported. Even if, as I say those things, I really don't know what it means yet. But even if I don't know what it means, I can find that. And as I'm looking, I give myself permission to receive it. It's okay if it's bit by bit. It's okay if it's layered. It's okay if the perspective of it all changes over time. What I'm looking to give to myself right now is a foundation to hold space so that as I find the pieces, I can plug them right in. I give myself permission and I allow myself to receive, even as I'm learning what that means to receive. Allowing support. Allowing my support. Allowing support from myself. Allowing support from myself to myself. allowing myself to prioritize support, allowing myself to feel good about giving myself support, allowing myself to release old judgments, old habits, releasing anything that gets in my way or opposes my ability to offer myself support. My support. Well, I wonder, what does my support look like? How do I offer myself support? Is it by buoying myself up and just saying rawr and go get it and pushing and striving and making it? Possibly. That could be support, and sometimes that could be necessary. Okay. But is that the only way that I can offer myself support? Even if this is the only way I've ever known support to look like, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I allow myself to be curious about it. I give myself permission to wonder and to consider other possibilities of what support might look like. No, I really shouldn't do that. I shouldn't look at what other ways of support could exist because that's uncomfortable. And I don't like that. I think that that means that I could be foolish if I allow this to happen. And it means that maybe I could be wasting time, and it just overall it just doesn't feel good. So even if right now I'm feeling some pretty big pushback on allowing myself to explore other options of support, I hold space for it. I wonder, why would I feel uncomfortable at looking at other options of support? I feel it, but when I think about it, it seems unusual. Maybe it seems unusual because it doesn't make logical sense. What makes logical sense is to find as much support as possible. So if that's logical, then why would I feel more safe not having that? I wonder, is there some point in my life where I was taught by someone else's words, by someone else's actions, or by watching someone else's behavior that other forms of support don't exist, or they're not real, they're not true, they're risky, they're vulnerable, whatever it might be. I offer myself compassion. If I did learn that they weren't safe, well, of course that would feel uncomfortable. Of course that wouldn't feel good to try to engage. Why would I ever want to engage something that wasn't safe? So even if at some point in my life I learned that other forms of support just aren't safe, I deeply and completely accept myself. And even if at some point I learned other forms of support are not safe, I recognize that was a long time ago. And I didn't have other support and other perspectives to consider at the time. I did my best with what I had in making my choices and understanding support and what it meant. But I do have different choices now. I understand a more broad beginning point of what support can look like. I haven't engaged it because it hasn't ever felt safe. It feels uncomfortable and I don't like that. But maybe I can now. Maybe even though I was limited on how I gave myself support, I still did a good enough job to get to where I am now. And maybe now it's safe. Maybe now it's safe for me to try other forms of support. Whether or not I'm sure if it's safe to try other forms of support, I give myself permission to be curious about it, to explore it. I can at least determine what those other forms of support are, and then I'll decide if I want to engage them or not. Exploring support. Exploring support for me. Okay. Well, I do wonder, what would other forms of support look like? Oh, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. The only form of support I've ever had is pushing through it and just being strong enough and courageous enough to get through it. And then you're through it. What other possible pathways exist? Even if right now I'm at a complete loss of how to look at support in any other way, I continue to hold space to learn something new and to be surprised at what other options I could have. Well, I wonder, if I can't see other forms of support in my life, where could I see other forms of support in anything? Hmm. Well, let's take a look at sports. When someone engages in a sport, don't they have a beginning point where they potentially don't know anything about it? They just have a desire. They have a desire to play the sport. Okay, so ground level, starting with a desire, check. And then what? Well, then they join a team. Okay, so they find a group of other people who have a desire who also want to play the sport. That makes sense. And then that group has a coach. They have someone who knows about the sport and can teach them the rules and can teach them exercises and how to learn how to become good at the sport. Okay, so a desire, finding other people who have the desire, and someone who's knowledgeable. That makes sense. Okay, then what? Well, then they take action. And they may not be very good at it at all. And maybe they have some natural skill, and maybe they really don't. And maybe it's sometimes they have skill in what they're learning, and maybe sometimes it's really hard and they're not very good at it at all. Okay. But then they practice. They put a lot of time and effort into it consistently, and that's how they get better. And maybe sometimes they go up to their teacher, their coach, and they ask questions. Okay. Well, all of that makes perfect sense. That in sports checks. So, how do I apply that to me? Can I apply that to me? Well, of course I can. No, I can't. Whether or not all of me agrees that I can easily apply this to myself, I deeply and completely accept this space and I allow myself to continue to be curious about it. All right, so I have this difficulty. Do I have a desire? Yeah. Okay. Am I able to place myself in places with other people who also have a desire to heal? Sure, I've got a tapping place, but what are other ways that I could heal? There's meditation, maybe some yoga, even just walking. There are a lot of different ways that people reach out in a healing mindset. So maybe that could be something. Maybe just even a forum where I could go and talk. Maybe there's a group that someone else has started where I could just learn that I'm not alone and other people struggle the same way I struggle. What about a teacher, a guide, a leader? Well, yeah, there's lots of those. There's all kinds of people who have great ideas. There's books and there's podcasts and there's videos. I bet I could find a handful of leaders who have really good thoughts that could feel good to me to receive that from them. But what about practice? How do I practice? How do I practice support? Huh. Even if right now I'm really stumped about how to practice giving myself support, I'm open to discovering ways to give it a shot. Maybe practicing support is as simple as allowing myself to be kind to myself. Isn't that a type of support that I offer to other people? Well, what if I allowed myself that support from myself? Kindness. I don't know. Is that support? It sounds like it's not enough. Even if there's a part of me that's already judging this possibility, I allow myself to be curious about it. I can give it a try. And maybe it's not enough. Maybe it'll fall flat and it won't do me any good. But also, maybe it'll do a whole lot. And it's pretty simple. So even if part of me is skeptical and pushing back on it, I give myself permission to give it a try. But I wonder, how do I give it a try? Maybe I listen to myself. Maybe I consider the way that I feel and the things that I want to do are ways for me to communicate to myself that I'm looking for support. And whether that's, oh, I really just want to stay in bed all day today. Oh, I just don't want to face anything. Maybe instead of judging that as, oh, gosh, I'm so depressed, or, oh, I just never have any energy, I could say, oh, well, hello, self. Yeah, I hear ya. I wish that was an option. And even though we do have to get out of this bed and we do have to do things today, I want you to know I hear you. And that as we go throughout the things that we're doing today, I'm going to find ways to offer you support. Well, that sounds nice. And maybe if I feel like crying, I can find a way to let it out, or to tell myself, I hear you, and we will cry, I promise you, after 4 p.m. today, or whatever time I can provide that safe space for myself. And maybe it's that I give myself support by setting reminders somehow to drink water or to eat food. Maybe it's by paying attention to myself if I'm cold or just stiff and uncomfortable, and giving myself permission to move and to go grab a blanket or a jacket. Maybe support looks like comfort, because maybe I can't take this experience that I'm going through away. But rather than making myself be more brave and be more bold and be stronger, I can offer myself more comfort to just feel better and to add more to my own cup so that I don't feel so drained. Is that okay for me to do? I'm not sure if that's okay for me to do. Even if I'm not sure that it's okay for me to prioritize my own comfort and to take action on giving myself these comforts, I can give it a try. No, I can't give it a try. The whole world is going to melt down if I give it a try. I mean, like explode, and it will be all my fault that the world is exploded because I offered myself comfort. Oh my goodness, for like a whole day. How could I ever? Even if there's a part of me that's trying really hard to make this sound like a bad idea, I hold space that it's a new idea. And it's okay that it's new. And it's okay if it feels a lot of feelings about being new. But I hold strong to being curious about it and to allowing myself to offer myself comfort and to offer myself support. And I may have ideas right away, and it may take me some time to figure it out. But whatever that looks like, maybe it's okay. And maybe the world will go on as it is, but I can feel better. And wouldn't that be wonderful? Feeling better. Feeling better through this difficulty. Feeling better as I heal. Feeling better as I learn. Feeling better as I grow. Feeling better as I shift. Feeling better as I learn how to support myself. Feeling better as I learn how to comfort myself. Feeling better because I can. Because out of everyone, don't I know what I can do to feel better? Feeling better. And as I commit to being curious and taking action on offering myself support through listening to how I can give myself comfort. I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, take a breath. So I hope that brought some epiphanies. It gave you some perspective for allowances. Let me know. And let me know, Paula, how that felt for you. Alrighty. So moving on to Danette and forgiving someone who has hurt you deeply. That's hard to let go. Oh, yay. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for the feedback. Perfect. I love what Annette put. Her message saying that you are your best friend forever. And I love that. That goes along with what I say is everyone else is a plus one. I am here for me and everyone else is a plus one. And I love that because it allows the connections with other people to not have any sort of exchange that's necessary. It allows that space to just be um, a connection without requirements. Yeah, I want to connect with you, but you gotta help me feel better first. Because I can't do that for myself, so I've got to do it through you. So I'm going to give you this, and you got to give me something back so that I feel better. That can get tricky and not always work very well. But if you're able to have that perspective of, oh, but how can I do it? How come I? And a lot of us are taught that, oh, that's sad. Oh, how sad that you have to give it to yourself. How sad that you don't have anyone to offer that to you. So you have to do it alone. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm sorry. Bullshit. There's that is the softest word I can apply to that. Bullshit. Um, it's such a damaging thing to be handed as a truth because it is the biggest gift you can give yourself is to allow that support to come from within because you have such a beautiful strength and being able to recognize that within yourself. Anytime you're asking someone else to help you with that, leaves you open for manipulation. So a lot of times when you're handed that belief, it's because someone else wants to control your environment, emotionally, physically, whatever. Ugh. Okay, let's not get into that. But yeah, so allowing yourself that is really a beautiful perspective to receive. Okay. Loving the words, opening to allowing. Oh, good. Yes, yes. Real self talk. Absolutely. Thank you, Karen. Oh, I'm so glad, Angela. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're feeling better. Okay. Um, Back to forgiving someone that's hurt you deeply that you're having trouble letting go. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons why this can happen, right? It could be because the person is still in your life and you have to continually deal with them. So every time you see them, it just comes back. It's something that adjusted your life. It was a pivotal thing for you, and it's hard to let that go because things could have been different, and these things could have. It just the trajectory is now off, and you're mourning that, and you're grieving that, and it's hard to let that go. It could be that this person continues to behave in this way, that it wasn't a one-time thing. And it's just something that you just get hit with it over and over again. So, how do you let go of something that's just a constant behavior, right? Um, it could feel like if I let it go, then I'm being like everybody else, and I'm just saying, oh, sure, continue to be this horrible person, continue to do these horrible things. It doesn't matter because I've let it go too. It can feel like you're offering permission to someone that you don't want to give permission to operate in a certain way. There's a lot of ways we can get caught in heaviness like this. It can be kind of icky to tune into. So if you don't want to get really connected to this, but you want to work on it, or you at least want to see the process of working on it, allow yourself to see it at a distance. You can dissociate from the emotions of it and still tap on it and work on it through a barrier so that it's not overwhelming for you. This never has to be overwhelming. There's so many techniques in EFT that allow it to be empowering, even if it's something that's just like over the top. So you can put it like it's a movie screen, like you're viewing it in a theater. You can encapsulate it in some sort of a barrier. You can look at it through glass. You can see it from a different dimension. You can put all of your emotions with it on a different planet, bury it at the bottom of the sea, put it in a 3 foot deep steel encasement. Whatever it is that you need to see to be able to feel like, that's right. I've got power over this. And now I'm going to mess with this in the way that I want to. And I'm not overwhelmed by how this feels anymore. And this is one of the clinical techniques of EFT. And there's just multiple creative ways to approach it. And the right way is whatever gives you that feeling where you're like, yeah, that's the point where you want to start tapping on it. So given that, and you can go ahead and start tapping while you're thinking about it, as you imagine this situation, whatever situation it is that just burns you when you think about it, whether it's the person, a particular instance with them, a particular place that just ignites you, that they constantly poke at, whatever it is, allow your pardon me, allow yourself to gain that distance. Just see it becoming smaller, minuscule, far away, hidden behind something that you control and only you control. Even if they tried to figure it out, there's no way. No way. Okay. I'll give you a moment to put that in its place. As I consider this situation where I'm uncertain how to move forward and feel good, I deeply and completely accept myself. As I consider how to find an end point with this, I give myself permission to be where I am, even if this has been ongoing for a long time, even if I've tried so many other tries and how to deal with this, and it just hasn't gotten me there yet. I give myself permission for it to be where it is. I also give myself permission to space it far away, to get it off of me. This is something that I felt inside for a long time. And maybe it's been overwhelming, and I just feel like it's on top of me, and it's just in my mind, and it's just constantly chewing, and it's integrated into my emotions. And whether part of that or all of that or something else that's similar to that is true for me, I give myself permission to make it different right now without solving any of it. This is my body. These are my emotions. This is my mind. And I do not give it permission to be here anymore. Get out. Get out of my space. I will deal with you from over there. You now have a place to be, and it is not inside of my body or inside of my mind or inside of my emotions. I am in control of this. And even if I am not in control of the other person, even if things happened in a way that I did not have control over, that happened a while ago. I'm talking about this moment, and I do have control over this moment. This is mine. It's mine. And I will say how things happen from here. And as I claim my space, I allow myself to feel empowerment and control over how this is affecting me. And as I space myself from how this is, I give myself permission to deal with it however I want. Maybe I don't. Maybe I push this away and I don't ever think about it again. Maybe I don't have to heal from it. Maybe I don't need to learn any lessons from it. Maybe I don't need to be the bigger person. Maybe it just needs to get away and it can just sit over there for forever. It doesn't get any more of my attention. I can make that choice. It is my choice, and I could choose that. And even if I choose to never deal with it more than this right now, I deeply and completely accept myself. I wonder, is that going to give me the greatest joy? Is that going to allow me to be in the place that I want to be in? Whether or not I have the answer to that question right now, I give myself permission to explore what my other choices might be. Maybe I could deal with it bit by bit. I could give myself permission to just take slices of it. Little teeny tiny, like piddly little slices. Things that won't overwhelm me to deal with and will allow me to, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Will allow me to find a true zero. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's a math term where I can bit by bit level out the equation on both sides. I can do that. Maybe one way I can deal with it is to give myself permission to let it all out. Maybe I've really held in a lot of emotion. And maybe I've really judged myself for the emotions that I do have. Maybe there are some emotions I don't understand or I just don't want to face because they're uncomfortable. But what if I just processed them? And maybe it won't help at all. Maybe I will be a mess for a couple of hours processing all of this, and it won't get me anywhere. Even if I allowed myself to process all of my emotions and it didn't get me anywhere, it wouldn't be any worse off. And isn't it true that when I process my emotions, I generally feel really relieved? So maybe now that it has got its own space over there, wherever there is, I finally have room where I can speak, where I can feel, where I can release, where I can have a safe place for that. Because obviously, my safe place was not in this situation. There was no safe place for me there. It's probably why I still have all of this. I haven't had a safe place to put it. But now I do. As of right now, I do. I have a safe place and I can use it. And I can use it to try things. I may have ideas of things that will feel soothing and healing, cathartic, and maybe they'll be, wow, amazing. And maybe they'll be eh. But whether or not they're amazing or eh, I've got a space for it. And I can try out everything and see what works. And maybe as I allow myself to process my own experience, my own healing, it will automatically start to dissolve what's been on me from this situation. And maybe I really won't have to deal with it again. And maybe I will. But whether or not I have to deal with it again, I'm more empowered now. I'm more empowered than I was. I'm more empowered than I was when things happened. And even if I still have feelings and thoughts about how things happened before, I give myself permission to process all of that while I hold space for myself now. This person was not a safe place for me. And I didn't know how to be a safe place for myself. But now I do. And I create spaces. And I hold my spaces. I hold space for myself, and I hold that boundary. Whether or not this other person ever knows it exists, it doesn't matter. Because they're not invited on making my boundary. It's mine. So it doesn't matter if they're aware of it. If I decide to say something, I can. Absolutely. But I don't ever have to. Because it's mine. My boundary. My safe space. My healing. My empowerment. Processing my experience. Allowing myself to be seen and heard in my safe space. Giving myself permission to start here. And maybe this will be all I need. And this will give me so much insight and empowerment that it will all resolve. Maybe it's a little more complex than that. And it's going to take a few more tools to get there. Whether or not this is all that I need, or there's a few more things I get to add on, I give myself permission to have this space and to have this time and to feel how much this works. And as I consider my healing and my process, I can add on as needed. But I acknowledge the strength of this place. And I acknowledge my ability here. I acknowledge my choices here. And I hold this space sacred to me. I hold this space safe from judgments. I hold this safe space from how do I say that? I hold this place as safe, safe to be vulnerable, safe to express, even if it feels unkind, even if it feels unfair, even if it feels, wow, like, where did that come from? It's allowed here. If I need it, I get it. I hold that space for myself. And as I allow myself to have this space, I deeply and completely accept myself. Just going to tap a little bit more. Really just allow this to integrate. Okay. Go ahead and stop tapping and take a deep breath. Nicely done. So holding a space like that can be really, really empowering. A lot of times we aren't given the skill set of finding a safe space like that. And often we do feel like it has to be given by another person because typically it is. When we're children, it's an adult that holds that space for us, right? So learning that we then can give ourselves that space is a new skill set. So I hope that that's enlightening for you and truly empowering. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. Those were two pretty big topics. Let's do like a 30-second quick ending tap, okay? All right, let's just do it. As I reach the end of this tap with my awesome community who are full of vibrant energies that are all reaching for the same thing that I'm reaching for. And that brings me so much hope, and it brings me vision, and it brings me excitement, and it feels good. It feels really good to be connected to these people that I have as my community. And I allow these good feelings that have happened during this tapping session to be acknowledged and recognized, and to continue to remain with me and continue to grow throughout the rest of this day, throughout the rest of this week, and to be accessible whenever I want to focus in on them again. And if this has been a good session for me, I give myself permission to rest and to allow this to be enough, to let my brain to continue to work on this, because it will. It absolutely will. It will continue to process these healthy new connections that I've made and release the ones that now it recognizes I don't need anymore, that I can upgrade from. And as I feel the connections and the beautiful feelings from this community and feel good about myself for all of the good work that I've done, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, take a breath. Oh, that feels better. It just felt a little bit open still. So thanks for doing that with me. I'm so glad that you were here. Thank you for your suggestions and your comments, your supports to each other. If you have questions, please email me. I hope that I get to see you again next week. I will be thinking about you and sending you all the loves. Mwah. Take care.